All right, next we have 30 and 50. Everyone should know by now what I can divide 30 and 50 by, like what factor they have in common, because this is the one I really get excited about because it's like literally the easiest. So looking at 30 and 50, what factor do they have in common? And all of y'all better get this one right because it's like super easy. What is it? If you said 10, you are right. They do have 10 in common. So we're right, 10 on the outside because that is a factor they automatically share. Remember, if both of the numbers end in 0, they automatically are divided by 10. So now, I'm going to divide each number by 10. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 50 divided by 10 is 5. 3 and 5 are both prime numbers, so I know I can't go any farther. They do not share any factor in common greater than 1, so I'm done factoring out using the ladder method. But remember, we're trying to find the LCM, so I need to draw my L around my number on the side and the last row that I have filled out. So now I'm going to do 10 times 3 times 5. 10 times 3 is 30. Then I need to bring down that times 5. And then 30 times 5, I think I know what it is, but I always want to check my work to make sure. 0 times 5 is 5. 3 times 5, no it's not. 0 times 5 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. So the answer is 150. So the least common multiple of 30 and 50 is 150. Okay? All right, the last two on this front page. They are a little different because we have more than one number that we're trying to find the LCM for. Even though there's not two numbers, this is still completely doable. Do not get comfortable with just seeing two numbers and just wanting to work out two numbers. You may have 4 one time, not right now, but like later on in the future, you may have 4 numbers. But today we're going to have 3 numbers, mainly because on your homework that's coming up this week and on your test, you will have 3 numbers on it. So I want y'all to get used to it. So here we have 15, 40, and 30. We want to know the greatest common, well, not the greatest. We want to find a common factor between them so we can find the least common multiple. Now, looking at these numbers, I can easily think of a little trick that I automatically know what number they're automatically divided by. At 15, 40, 30. 2 of the numbers end in 0. 1 of them ends in 5. So what number can they automatically be divided by if they either have a 0 or a 5 behind it? If you said 4, you're close, but that's not quite right. Oh, I heard someone say it's 5. That's right. It is 5. All 3 of these numbers share 5 in common. So now I'm going to divide each number by 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 40 divided by 5 is 8. And then 30 divided by 5 is 6. So now, I want to look at these 3 numbers and see if they have any factors in common. Now, I know you're automatically thinking, Ms. Soto, there's 8 and 6. They share 2, which that fact is correct. But that 3 doesn't share the 2, so 2 wouldn't be a good factor to use because they all need to share the same factor. Some of you are probably thinking, oh, wait, Ms. Soto, 3 and 6, they share 3, which is also true, but 8 doesn't share 3. So since not all 3 of them share the same factor in common besides the number 1, we're done factoring. So now it's time to find our LCM. So remember, I'm going to make an L around the outside numbers and in the last row that's being used on my ladder rung. Now I'm going to multiply 5 times 3 times 8 times 6. Oh, this is going to be a big number. 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 6 is 48. Now we're going to use some skills that you learned in 5th grade. So have 15 times 48. Remember, this is how I've taught it in 5th grade and in 6th grade. I want to pay attention to the number in the ones place, so I don't get confused by that number in the tens place. 5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. I'm going to mark out the numbers I'm no longer using. Put my placeholder. Now I'm going to go to 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry that 2. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. So the answer is 720. So 720 is the smallest multiple that all 3 of these numbers share. And if I got this wrong, also tell me. I think it's correct. I'm gonna check it later. I'll let y'all know. All right, and then this one we have 28, 14, not 20, we got 21, 14, and 28. Unfortunately, not all of these numbers are even, so we can't divide by 2. None of them end in 0, so we can't divide by 10. And none of them end in 0 or 5, so we can't divide by 5. So I'm going to set up a factor table on the side so I can list all of the facts of 21, 14, and 28. First one that comes to mind automatically for 21 is 1 times 21. And then probably one of the easiest facts, 3 times 7. And that's all I can multiply to give me 21. Let's do 14. I have 1 times 14, and then 2 times 7. I think that's it for 14. Now 28, I have 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. So I have listed all of the facts for 21, 14, and 18. Now I'm going to circle all of the factors that they share in common. All 3 of them, not just 2 of them, but all 3 of them have to share this factor. So we have 7, 7, and 7. And that's it. That's the only number that all 3 of them share. So 7 is going on the outside of my ladder rung. Now I'm going to divide each number by 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 28 divided by 7 is 4. And if you're ever stuck and you're like, I don't really know what these numbers, I don't know what the answer is when I divide. If you did a factor table, the number that's next to the factor that we chose, that's the number you tend to multiply by to get the numbers in the ladder rung. So this is kind of like a little cheat sheet for you, okay? So something to think about. So now I have 3, 2, and 4. Well, there is not one number that all 3 of them have in common besides the number 1, because 3 and 2 are both prime numbers, but 2 and 4 are both even. All 3 of them don't share any other numbers in common, so we're done factoring. So now, again, my goal is to find the least common multiple. So I'm going to draw my L around my numbers on the side, whether there's 1 or 2. and then on the last row that I wrote on. So now I'm going to do 7 times 3 times 2 times 4. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 4 is 8. On the side, I'm going to do 21 times 8. 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. So the answer is 168. And that is our least common multiple of 21, 14, and 28. All right, now we're going to do the 2-word problems, and then we will be done with this video.